Okay.
Yeah, no, you stop. I know. God, no.
What happened?
I'm knocking everything over. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on. I can take this other foot. I almost had to take my other foot off.
What happened? What truly happened to your leg, Dustin?
Oh, no.
I was lying to you guys. I actually lost the foot.
I have no feet. Is that a Fusakli's shirt?
It is. I just got this.
I was going to say it's either Fusakli's or Foo Fighters, and I just made an educated guess.
No, it is not the Foo Fighters. No, okay. I saw that this was a targeted ad, and I was like, God damn it, you guys, you sons of bitches got me.
Fine.
And so I got it, and I didn't get it till after the 4th of July, but I thought I'd wear it. It came in yesterday, and I was like, all right, I'm going to wear it on the podcast instead, because I'm discovering as I age even more into my renegade dad phase that I really love baseball shirts.
Yeah, dude, I love a baseball shirt. They are.
Yeah, they age better than the ringer t-shirts with like the colored, sleeve edge. Like, okay, maybe not that, but
right.
But these, my favorite. This is my third of these now. I have a blue one for OWA. I have this one, and my favorite one is the Mobile baseball one that's black.
Oh, nice. I've got a bunch that are just like plain, like just colors. Yeah. But I have one that has Pikachu on it and it's dope. And then I have one that has Nightwing on it.
It's so good. And I just like that, like, you can let the things fall. Like, even if the things fall past your elbows, you're doing dishes, they're not going to fall to your wrist.
You're just like, whatever.
It's not going to get wet. You know? And you can roll it up even though you really don't have to.
You don't have to.
Great. Yeah.
But you could.
Perfect.
That's right.
So limiting and yet so versatile. Simultaneously.
Right. In the ongoing saga of my leg, my foot. So still doing physical therapy. Today I took steps without the boot.
Yes.
And without the crutches. So like legit steps. And we went short distances, but we did it for like 5 to 10 minutes, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And over the course, it was like, the trainer was like reminding me, like, you can walk normal, like you don't have to limp. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, right. And then like it started to dawn on me, like, oh, my knee is not really used to this anymore. And so like I'm wanting to kind of like, and then my mental like framework is no, don't put anything on it. Don't put any weight. Right. And so I'm like hobbling and I'm like, no, hold on. And so I just concentrate and like I can do it. And so she was like, okay, cool. Did good. Put the boot back on, go home, walk without your crutches for the rest of the day. Like, you don't need them. Just walk with the boot on. And so that's what I've been doing. And it's great. Except right now I've got this like water bottle, this frozen water bottle under my heel, because what's hurting right now is the bottom of my heel, which has had no contact with earth in quite some time. and so now it's like, oh, we have to hold your weight, bro. Okay. And so it's just my heel, like the bottom of my heel that, like, I'm sure the tendons being snapped had something to do with it, but it's also just like putting weight on the heel for the first time in a long time. Yeah. So yeah, it just feels like, wonky. So I'm going to put this on there for the first, 10 minutes or so of our chat tonight and then remove it.
Nice. I'd seen when you said you had the frozen water bottle, I thought you pulled it out of the fridge too late.
Oh, yeah. And I was going to
drink tonight.
Oh, gotcha.
Which is why I kept saying sit on it like a mother hen.
Oh, sure.
I thought you were trying to defrost it, not that you needed it for your injury, which should have occurred to me first.
No, it's for my injury. But yeah, I'd rather. I don't think I'd sit on something and then drink it.
I was
for being honest.
I was projecting because I would.
You would.
I have before.
And you do regularly.
Yeah, I don't even use a fridge.
I don't even like water that has been sat
all
on.
my frozen food with my body heat from my groin.
Yes.
And then I eat it.
It's what's for dinner. Where's the beef? I'm sitting on it.
I'm sitting on it.
I'm sitting on it.
It's cold. How was your 4th?
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Had a good time. Did some family stuff and just some, stuff. And just chilling.
Yeah.
How about yours?
I didn't do anything. I was at home.
Nice.
And I had analysis paralysis. I couldn't figure out what to do.
Yeah, sure.
I spend so much time preventing myself from these situations. And I was sitting down and I was like, what am I going to watch? And I started like 3 different documentaries and I was like, nope, turned it off.
Yep, can't do this.
Just wasted like 2 hours starting and like I think it finally was just like, I'm just gonna watch Oppenheimer and I just
there you go.
I just watched like the first half of Oppenheimer and then went to bed. The Odyssey's coming up, like it's it wasn't even, and I thought like, oh, it made me just so excited for it,
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, Oppenheimer still 10 out of 10. Amazing stuff. Okay, well, we talked about your foot not having made contact with the earth. Speaking of not making contact with the earth, Dustin.
Yes, that's a good segue. Supergirl.
Hey, I was just touching base to see when you think you might be coming back. I'm just worried that you're not going to find your stride here if you keep going off-world all the time, Kara. I'm worried you're not going to find your people.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, Clark. I have no people. Oh, miss wherever you are, buddy.
He has 3 days.
You cannot give up on me.
It's the crime of the Yellow Hills. Who murdered my innocent family.
Just do what I say. And don't die. This does not look like this is gonna end well for you guys.
Stop. You're hurting my head.
Revenge. It won't take your pain away.
Your eyes are beautiful when you cry. A lot of pain, huh? A lot of suffering.
There's no home without you, buddy.
Aren't you the ditz from that dive bar?
Funny. That's what I've been calling you.
Touche.
I saw this this past weekend. Which was it? Its first weekend? No, it was the second weekend, I think.
It came out on June 26th. So this would have been the second weekend.
Yeah. So you know what? Let me do this before we jump in. Let me pull up some box office figures, just because I think it's relevant here. Because I want to talk about what this means for the business.
Mm-hmm.
But it opened with $37 million, which is low.
Yeah.
And currently stands at 102 million worldwide, against a budget of something
between 170 and 180 something million.
Okay. So it hasn't quite broken even yet.
Right.
And of course, that budget is amplified once you talk about marketing, but whatever. So it hasn't made its budget back yet. But Supergirl is the second film in the DCU, led by James Gunn. So this is not the second project. Obviously, Creature Commandos came first, followed by Superman, and then this. Am I missing something? There's something else, right? Did I skip something? I don't even remember.
That tells you something that we can't even think of it. I don't think so. I mean,
that's it.
Superman, Creature Commandos.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Okay.
Ugh.
All right. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So Creature Commandos, Superman, Supergirl. Second film in the DCU is based on this book, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, written by Tom King. This is the DC Compact series. So if you're in the market for some cheap comics, this is a really good way to go. It's really small. It's smaller than typical comics in terms of its form factor. It's only $9.99. So I paid $8 at Books A Million for this. Not a bad deal for a story that'll, provide a few hours of fun. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow is what it's based on, and the general idea of this film spinning off of Superman is Supergirl is alone on her birthday and going to red sun planets, which red sun planets nullify Superman and Supergirl's powers. So she's essentially a normal person so that she can get drunk. And so she's doing this. She's on a little bender and, doing her thing out in space and ignoring the calls of Clark and who's trying to get her to come back home. And it's just kind of her and Crypto out doing their thing. When they are confronted by a young girl named Ruthie, whose family has been killed by a villain, kind of like a space pirate, known as Krim of the Yellow Hills. And Ruthie is on a revenge quest to kill Krim, and she's trying to recruit Supergirl to help her on this quest. And so that's the general premise. If it sounds like True Grit, it's because it is.
I have a question. Does Crypto's powers also nullify at the Red Sun?
He is essentially just a normal dog. Yep, that's right.
He can't even get drunk. Or can he?
I don't know.
Get drunk?
Oh, woof.
Does she put whiskey in his bowl?
Yes.
And it's a wild ride.
It's a wild. Hey, man. When in Rome, they're out there doing their thing. And so that's the general premise of it, of both the film and of the book. I want to talk a little bit about the film first before I jump into spoilers and talking book comparisons and this sort of thing. But here's kind of how it breaks down. I didn't care for the film, and that's for a few reasons. Now, I was like engrossed in it only because like I really like these characters, and I have a big interest in like what's happening on screen because I want to see this fledgling universe become something big.
Right.
But all things being equal, I was not actually engrossed in the story or in the film's messaging or in its performances or in pretty much anything. It was mostly just like sheer curiosity as to how this is going to factor in, and are we going to get any cool things like, oh, there's a Green Lantern that leads into lanterns, or oh, there's Darkseid, he's going to be the big bad, or is there anything like that in this?
Any breadcrumbs?
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of like really keenly like looking for. And there's really none of it. It's really self-contained and small. And like the book before it, it's a Western, but the film suffers from a few things. The primary one I'll save for last, but it is it's a film that I think doesn't quite know its tone. It has these like, pop music needle drops that never really work in the way that James Gunn films typically do. It doesn't feel stylistic and like fun in the way that like cool directors would do it. Instead, Craig Gillespie, who directed this, keeps the camera mostly static and without much style or stylization. The cinematography, the color grading, it's very murky and muddy and brown, and so it lacks that like vibrancy that for better or worse James Gunn's Superman had. It is not particularly well shot. So like, the idea of like every frame's a painting, I'm not sure that I'd put any of these frames on my wall. And the score is forgettable. The needle drops, like I said, they don't work. The CGI is mostly okay. But there's some cool like puppetry, like practical stuff in here, but nothing that's groundbreaking. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. You did that. Star Wars has done that too already. Yeah. It kind of felt more like a fan film, but like a not good one than anything else. But the primary problem lies with two things. One, the film doesn't know who Kara is. I've always in my mind called her Kara. So if I call her Kara in this review, it's because I've read the name Kara for decades, and it's just stuck in me now. But Kara, the film doesn't know who Kara is or what she wants or what she stands for or anything. It's really mixed. Like the messaging, the themes are really mixed up and muddy. And the film doesn't work as a film, meaning that there are like introductions of characters and scenes and planets and places, and none of them are given any weight or importance at all, to the point where there's a lot of this that you could pull out and it wouldn't even change the story. And there's a lot of connective tissue that would provide context that it feels like is missing. Whether it was shot, I don't know, but it certainly feels like it's missing. So I'm going to pin it on the screenplay, but it may have been lost in editing, because there are reports that the film tested several different versions, like a director's version, a studio version, a few different versions, and I don't know which one won. But the runtime apparently was very different in the various versions. So I don't know. This film stands at like an hour 48 or something like that. So it's relatively short. Yeah, an hour 48. But it's like it's a rare example of it could use more. Yeah. But not more runtime, just more content. And so you could trade out the stuff that doesn't work for other content and probably stick around the hour 45 mark. I just need more stuff. I just need more connection, more stuff happening. Because as it is, the film feels disjointed and like, oh, they go to this place and then this thing happens and they go to this place and then this thing's happened. And so there's this style of storytelling that you've heard us talk about before. If you've listened to this, there's like story-driven and character-driven stories. And the worst version of like a story-driven story is the version where you could almost sense the filmmakers or screenwriters going, oh, and then this happens. Oh, and then this happens. Oh, and then this happens. Instead of this happens, the character chooses this thing, and then the next thing happens because of that choice. And then the next thing happens because of that choice. And it's cascading on the choices of our characters. And then I'll also say, and we'll talk more about this in spoilers, the film fundamentally misunderstands this book. This book is aesthetically similar and surface level similar, but it fundamentally misunderstands what this book is and what it's about. And that's a huge misstep. Again, I'm going to talk more about that in a minute. But as of right now, what I'm going to say is that the film is like a 2.5 star film. It mostly does not work. And that's a huge problem. And so, I'm going to end it here by just saying there are people out there really praising the work that Millie Alcock put in. And I'm sure she does a great job. My problem is the writing is so not my preference for this character or for this universe. Yeah. And because of that, it's really hard for me to get a good grasp on if she's a good Supergirl. What I will say is we do get not a lot, but like a couple scenes of David Cornsweet as Superman in this, and that stuff is fine. And we get some background on like Krypton, because the story of Supergirl here is like, obviously Supergirl has memories of Krypton. And so we get to see some of the DCU's version of Krypton, and that's fun. Ultimately, you could more or less pull it out of this story and it wouldn't matter. Now, could you pull it out of this book? No. It's in this book, and it works really well in this book. It's fun to watch in the film, but it's inconsequential because the film doesn't develop it enough. And that's sort of, one of the problems with this film is like, it just doesn't delve deep enough into who Kara is and what she stands for. And so that's where I'm at with the film. It's a shame that the film is kind of being critically panned. The box office isn't great. And it's the second DCU film. Obviously, people are quick to point out, Iron Man was good, but the second MCU film was The Incredible Hulk, and it wasn't very good. And I'm like, well, I like The Incredible Hulk more than this, I think.
Potato.
But it's fine. So everyone's like, so it doesn't mean the death of the DCU. And I'm like, I'm not saying it does. But what I am saying is like, it's a shame that this is the second film, because a lot of people now, I think, are going to feel differently about the universe than they had after Superman, which I had my problems with Superman. I don't remember. You saw Superman, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember what we rated it.
I don't either. I remember thinking it was fine. It was fine.
It's fine. I will say, if I were to pan this way, you'll see a ton of Superman DVDs and Blu-rays and 4Ks on my shelf.
Yeah.
That's not one of them.
Right.
Do with that what you will. I love Superman. I don't own that film, and I've only seen it once. I've seen Man of Steel more than once.
Yeah. It's easy for me to be more objective about Superman because I don't have any attachment to him at all. So I'm less attached to Superman than probably the average person.
Sure.
So like I see every iteration of him as, a product of its time to some extent. Like the Donner movie obviously like has so much clout for just being a groundbreaker in itself and just nailing the character, but of course it's more fun to watch Henry Cavill fly around because of computers.
Yeah, sure.
And then, we've got James Gunn's, which is like, a fresh, optimistic take on really within a modern context of how kindness is now like countercultural, like being nice is like punk rock or whatever. The movie is like, okay, yeah, sure. And so they're all just kind of fine to me. I don't put them on equal ground, but the idea that people, I think it's weird because this is just the hair splitting culture that we live in, Dustin. I imagine like being at you and I being at a party and someone asking you, Dustin, do you like Supergirl? And you saying, not really. And then I'm going, yeah, man, chicks shouldn't be the main character. And you'd be like, well, no, that's not that. Wait a minute.
Hold on.
We dislike it for completely different reasons.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's just, that's the onus on making a good movie in spite of morons is so important because like, obviously their mission, no matter what, is to make a good movie.
Yeah, totally.
And when people are review bombing it, you hoping like, okay, I hope this is actually a good movie.
It's great.
Because morons hate it because of what it contains.
Yep.
And then you see it and you're like, I don't like it either, but it's just because it's not a very good movie.
But for different reasons. Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not for any culture war reasons, just not that good.
It's just not that good.
But to your point too, like it's too early to decree that like, oh, we've had 2 films that have been mixed reaction. Therefore, the new DCU is doomed. And it's just like, it's way too early everyone wants to be a tastemaker. Everyone wants to like to call it early. And it's just like, it's just 2 movies, you guys. Like it's going to take like 6 more movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like, I really want this to succeed, right? Because I'm well aware that the failure of the DCU under James Gunn means we probably won't get these characters on the silver screen for a long time.
For a bit, yeah.
Like they're not going to reboot it again in 3 years.
I gotta tell you, as a consumer,
yeah,
I'm exhausted.
Yes.
by all of this, even outside DC and Warner Brothers. Just like I'm just exhausted by this. Yeah. The churn that's happening. I want these to be good so we can stop starting over.
I want them to be good because I love these characters. Like
they have been good in other mediums.
Listeners of the show know that my preference is for DC. I love them both. I love Marvel, but my preference is for DC. And like these, as you can tell by the wall behind me, but like I want them to be good because I just want good versions of this in the general public for people to go like, oh man, Superman's actually really cool. And like understand why I love Superman so much and why I love Supergirl and why I love, like all these characters that like for years people have been like, and like why when something happens like the Flash movie and you're just like, oh, but that's not the Flash, y'all. Like stop. Like this, please don't think that of the Flash. Right. It's like I love these characters and I want them to be good. And so I have like a vested interest in this. And so yes, like my expectation level is higher than most people's. So when Superman didn't meet my expectation, it isn't necessarily because it's a bad movie. It's because it doesn't fall under like what I want from a Superman movie, which I'm sure I said this in our review. I'll say it again. And I think it's important for this film too, is what I want is real stuff. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't think that's too much to ask for in your first 1 or 2 films is ground me on Earth, show me what life is like for these people. The reason why Iron Man and Hulk and Captain America and all of that took its sweet time getting to space is because you have to build what the world is. And so it's not a mistake to jump straight into space as long as you like also show me what Earth is like. And you don't see Earth in this film except for one scene, like, okay, maybe 2 scenes. One's a flashback and all you see is the Fortress of Solitude. So you're not really getting like a picture of Earth. You're not really seeing what this is. Now, we had that in Superman, but my contention with Superman is like the second act of Superman is all in this pocket dimension, which feels so intangible. And I don't have a sense of like part of the fun of Superman to me, this is just me, is wow, Superman is this superhero who exists on our world. Look at him doing super things in my world.
Next to a McDonald's.
Yeah, next to a McDonald's. Yeah. And it's like, cool. That's really cool. Like, what if you had these powers and you lived on Earth? Yeah. What would you do? Like, it's stupid and cheesy maybe, but like the idea of like Clark Kent on the farm and like Pa Kent is like driving stakes into the ground for a fence. And then Clark goes, I got it, Dad. And it's like done. Yeah. And it's like, that's really cool. Yeah. It's cheesy.
Look how fast he made a fence.
But it's really
cool.
That
would take me a long time.
Yeah. And it's like those cool, like human moments. Yeah. And so, and what I felt from James Gunn's
like a pocket dimension, you're just like, is this common in this dimension? Like it's not special really, you know? Like
well, but I'm also like, but I can't touch any of this because I'm well aware. I'm well aware that David Corenswet is on a green screen, holding a blue fake doll. Yeah, because they're going to
with motion capture dots on it.
Yeah, with motion capture dots on it.
You're naive, Dustin. It's probably a face replacement and full CG body.
Yeah, there you go. The CG dog is chasing after them. They've got Mr. Terrific CG T-spheres running out. None of this is real.
Right.
Like, and for your first film, I really want to feel like I could step into this world. And this is so far-fetched, so quickly out of the gate. It's just hard to like, even for a comic reader like me, it's really hard for me to step into it. I really want to know. It's why I love like, the Spider-Verse thing is cool, but part of the coolness of Spider-Man is that he's Spider-Man in New York City.
Yes.
Yes, sure. He goes multiverse.
Yeah.
The cool part of him is he's street level, fighting baddies, robbing banks.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. With Superman, it's much the same way, but it's like elevated. Like the baddie, the big alien monsters come to Earth.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes he goes to space, but at least for this first one, they come to Earth.
Yeah.
And it's just so hard to like latch onto a character for the first time. When we start in media res, we're not given proper like context as to who this character is. It's like it's banking on my knowledge of Superman to foster goodwill toward the character when you haven't proven to me that I should care about this version of the character. And I don't want to rehash all my issues with Superman, but I do it because some of them exist here. This Supergirl film exists on other planets with other creatures that aren't human. Some are, some aren't. And part of the problem is that it doesn't feel tangible. It doesn't feel real. Now, I'd argue it actually does feel in parts more real than the pocket dimension ever did. Because in my mind, that's like really, computery. But like, practical effects do help, but it still feels intangible. And I really just want something to feel real. Now, I say that, and I'm gonna completely like, I know what's gonna happen when our Lanterns review comes out, and I'm gonna say the opposite, and people are gonna go, "You've seen the opposite." I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Green Lantern, I do not expect to happen on Earth.
Right. By its very nature.
So when Green Lantern comes out and it's like really grounded and it's on Earth and it feels like a Tyler Sheridan film or series, and I'm gonna go, well, it took place more on Earth. And everyone's going to listen to this show going, you said you didn't want it on Earth. You said you wanted it on Earth, and now it's on Earth, and you don't like it either. Because it's that. But like, whatever. I do want Green Lantern on Earth. I just also want him in space. Not too much to ask. I want the aliens with the green ring. But there's a little bit of that element here where it just doesn't feel quite tangible enough for me to latch on and feel like I can touch this stuff. So that's where I'm at with Supergirl. Do I recommend you seeing it in theaters? No. I recommend you seeing it on streaming. Do I also understand that by recommending it for streaming, I'm kind of biting my own foot off because I want this universe to continue?
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm looking out for your wallet, my friend. It's just not worth it. Right.
Well, and for the only way they're going to concede that things need to be different is financial returns. And it's the only way we as consumers, the average consumer, can actually vote basically and say, I'm not into this.
Yeah.
And, and maybe they'll interpret it as like, oh, it's just a bunch of like incels who don't want to come see the movie.
Yeah.
But like, if it makes only a certain amount of money, it's like, there's not that many incels, bro. Like there's other people who aren't interested,
Yeah.
And
that's what I hope.
Hate or bigotry in that sense. Is just like, it's the approach you're taking. It's word of mouth being negative,
It'd be really easy to like, for some bean counter somewhere to be like, okay, I think, Mr. Gunn, what's happened here is that it's been review bombed, and the general public actually likes it more than the reviews let on. And also, the numbers are low, but there's been a coordinated effort of people to not see this film because of she's a woman. And then they don't learn a lesson because they're assuming
let's attribute everything
the reason,
to silly
political
reasons.
Means or whatever it is.
Yeah, culture war stuff.
Yeah, and what it actually is it's just not a solid.
It's not resonating.
Yeah,
because conversely, you look at calculations and the bean counters do this, where it's like, this movie is so popular not just because of our good marketing, but like people are coming back to see it a second time. So it's like you use that same math. And you've had to be able to tell like people aren't coming because they are not interested.
You look at like something like Sinners, which is still, the obvious example to go to, where it's a movie that got good word of mouth and people saw it many times in theaters. And that's what good movies do. And if this film had been of the Sinners quality, I guarantee you it would have done that. But, here we are. So, yeah, man, I want to jump into spoilers and talk a little bit about the film and like break it down a little bit in terms of what I think doesn't work. I'm going to give the film its flowers where it deserves them. Mm-hmm. But I also want to be a little harsh on it because, again, I love these characters. I love this universe. I really want it to succeed. And I want you to trust my opinion of this thing and realize like, I'm not blowing smoke. I'm not just saying it's a bad movie because it's a bad movie. It's a bad movie because, or I won't even say it's a bad movie. It's a mid movie because it fundamentally doesn't understand the source material and makes some big cinema problems. Yeah. So let's jump into it. First and foremost, when you're writing a story, your protagonist has to drive the story. This book is not told from Supergirl's perspective. It's told from the perspective of this girl here, Ruthie. Mm-hmm. Ruthie is the protagonist, and Supergirl is seen through Ruthie's eyes. If we look, it begins with these panels and all of this yellow stuff, all the yellow text blocks are Ruthie's narration, her internal monologue. It's clear that she's telling this story or thinking about it decades in the future and reminiscing on this. And each page is filled with Ruthie's thoughts.
Yeah.
How is she interpreting what's happening around her? And this film ignores that storytelling device and simply tells the story from Supergirl's perspective. In my opinion, this book works better because it's inherently more interesting to watch Supergirl through the eyes of someone and have a specific point of view for the audience to see Supergirl through. Now, it can work the other way where we are seeing the world through Supergirl's eyes, but the film has to do what this film did not, which is establish who Supergirl is, what she wants, how she sees the world, and do that clearly, succinctly, so that I can latch onto the character and root for her and the way that she sees the world. This film did not do that. So I have a hard time saying, well, here's who Kara is and what she believes and what she wants and all of that. And that's a really difficult pill to swallow, that this film chose its protagonist different than the source material, but didn't do what the source material did and give me any of who she is and what she wants. And that's a huge problem. You could say what she wants is to party and forget her trauma, but the film doesn't establish that that's a long-standing goal of hers, nor does it investigate her trauma enough to make it thematically potent. Instead, the trauma feels impotent because there is no relation to the story at large, and her trauma isn't, I suppose her trauma is coming out in this binge drinking, partying mentality, but it's never addressed. It doesn't, there's no lesson learned or redemption. There's no, like, maybe I'm wrong. It also doesn't say maybe I'm right. It doesn't say anything. So in terms of like addressing trauma, the film doesn't do it. And also it doesn't really sell that the trauma is traumatic. It is, like, I understand it mentally that losing your entire home world is traumatic, but it doesn't show me that. This film shows me, this book shows me. So here's how this breaks down. Like, Supergirl is different from Superman in that, as everyone knows, Superman was a baby. Kal-El, planet's going to explode. Jor-El, his father, sends him on a ship as a baby to Earth. He lands on Earth. He's Superman. James Gunn's Superman posits that Jor-El sent him to Earth to conquer. This film doubles down on that.
Sure.
That is what Jor-El sends Kal-El to do. But in this film, it's a little different than the typical origin of Supergirl. and it's pulled from this book. And the way that they position Supergirl is when Krypton explodes, Supergirl is not born yet. But her city, Argo City, is jettisoned from Krypton, but preserved because her father, Jor-El's brother, was able to build just around his one city, like, a few blocks or whatever, a force field that protected it from the explosion. And now it's sitting in space alone, this domed city. And it floats in space for years until Supergirl is conceived, born, comes of age, and is, 14, 15 on Krypton, on Argo City, the exploded fragment of Krypton. And at that age, her mother gets sick and a bunch of people get sick. And it's revealed that the radiation from the explosion and the surrounding red sun and all of these things is turning the very soil that it stands on to kryptonite. And all the people on Argo City are dying of radiation from the kryptonite. And so Supergirl lost her planet and then is losing it again in the form of people. Although I'd argue that she wasn't born yet when the planet exploded, so that's not really traumatic. All she knew is Argo City as the floating chunk in space. But she's losing her people, and her dad says, I'm going to send you to Earth, and you'll have a good chance of survival there, like better than here. You're going to die here. And so he sends her to Earth, and she encounters her now grown cousin, Kal-El. And he gives her the suit and is like, let's be heroes. And she rejects this mantle. And evidently, this all happens off screen, all we see is her landing on Earth and him being like, cool, I don't speak your language, but like, I'm happy to have you here. And then we get one scene of her in Metropolis looking at the Daily Planet. And then that's it. That's all we get. So we don't really know, like, it would have been great to have seen the moment where she rejects the suit, or she rejects being Supergirl, or she's, torn on whether or not Earth should be her home world or whatever. I also have big questions about, like, because she left Argo City and her dad was still alive, like waving to her as she leaves. So theoretically, when she lands on Earth, now not really that much older than she was when she left. She's played by Millie Alcock both times, so it's not like it's been years, unless it has. I don't know. Who knows? It is weird that she would go to Superman, learn English, and go, hey, there's a bunch of people on Argo City that are still there, and they don't go up there to save them, or like, let's see if they're alive. Like, they don't do any of that. That seems like a layup. Yeah. Hey, there could be more of us. Let's go check it out.
Like New Asgard. Like, let's just go get them and bring them and resettle them.
Right. Exactly. So that doesn't happen. It would have been great to have, seen that scene. I don't know. But like, we don't really get much. And so, nevertheless, that's the origin of Supergirl. Right. But there's trauma there, right? You lost your mother, you lost your friends and family. They start dying from radiation. Now you're separated from them. Presumably they're dead. I don't know. You don't know. Yeah. And now you're living on Earth and you're being given this mantle that you don't know that you want or can live up to. Sure, there's trauma there. But the film doesn't really explore, like, why does she not want to be Supergirl, and what is this trauma doing to her? Like, you've lost everything, but how is that manifesting? Other than, like, we see it manifesting in that she's drinking to forget, but like, what is it? What is she forgetting? Like, she's forgetting all of her relationships, and so it would have been great to have seen a scene where she meets Jimmy Olsen, or she meets somebody on Earth, but she can't connect with them because she's like, you're just not my people, or something, like some hint of like, why is this a recurring thing? Like, I feel distant from Kal-El. I feel distant from Earth. It doesn't feel like home, but why? I don't know. I don't know if that reasoning makes sense to me, but like, I don't have a clear grasp on like where her head is at.
Yeah.
Especially considering the typical origin of Supergirl is she comes to Earth and she's kind of excited to see the only other survivor of Krypton. And in this, she's not. So I don't really understand what. So anyway, all that aside, it feels like, the origin doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And it doesn't give me pieces into who Kara is. And it doesn't really have to say a lot about trauma because it doesn't take a stance. It doesn't really grapple with what the trauma is or how it's manifesting or what it means to overcome it. And then likewise, you would expect that through this journey, she now learns something new. But she doesn't. But the film wants its cake. So what it does is at the end, she returns to Earth. Superman flies into his apartment and she's there and she goes, I'm ready to stay. And he goes, cool, glad to have you. But why is she ready to stay? I don't know. There's nothing, like, how has she overcome her trauma? Why is she choosing the mantle now? Why did she not choose it to begin with? I don't know. So none of this is explored with enough depth for me to understand what she wants. And so I don't even know how she feels about her powers. Like, there's drama there. Like I was a normal person and now I have these powers. Clark has always had the powers. He doesn't remember a time before.
Yeah,
she does. Like, presumably that's exciting, but maybe it's a curse. Maybe she feels like it's a curse. Either way, I want her mind. I want to know, what does she think? I know if I got the power to fly and bullets bounced off my chest, I would love it.
Yeah, I'd be like, this is fucking sweet.
This is awesome.
Yeah,
I love this planet. But would I want it at the cost of losing all of my loved ones? No. So I don't know, like, what her thought is. So, that's a problem. I also want to talk about the villain. Krim of the Yellow Hills, drastically redesigned in this film. Looks like a Ravager from Guardians, like some sort of like copycat Xerox copy of a Ravager, but is completely devoid of like intensity, completely devoid of memorability. Doesn't mean anything to me at all. He has some level of powers because he can take a punch, but I don't know what he's capable of. I know he's a bad dude, kills people, but I don't really know much about him, and I don't really like watching scenes with him because he's boring. So he's usually just eating something, like Brad Pitt style. He's just like eating in the background.
Snacking.
Yeah, he's snacking. And then he's going like, whatever. And I'm like, that's not a villain. It's just a thing that you're doing. Yeah. And so like, whatever. Ruthie, again, for a character who's so pivotal in the source material, she's our protagonist. She's really relegated to not much, like being very one note in this adaptation. Mm-hmm. Like I want to read just for a second, like the way she speaks in this book is very unique, right? Like it's old and it's medieval almost, and all of that's lost in the movie. Like the start of this book is, my father, whose name I will not record here, for I do not wish it learned, did not die a dignified or honorable death. A criminal and a thief and a liar who at the time identified himself as Krim and claimed the Yellow Hills as his place of origin, stabbed him through with a coppice blade. Krim had come upon our rock farm the day before, requesting shelter and a meal, which he was granted by my kind and godly family. After he woke in the morning, he got into words with my father on the subject of our new king. These words were ended when Krim unsheathed his weapon. My dear father was unarmed. It vexed me at the time that Krim left his blade within the body, for in truth it was a finely crafted sword, worthy, I would think, of even the knights of the old mist. I can testify that it was not lodged so deep within the chest cavity that it could not be removed with a clarity even in the moment of murder. If a child, which I was at the time, despite my many protests to the contrary, could claim the weapon with a simple tug, what was it that prevented Krim from rescuing it? It's like, it's very mature. Like she's older than her age. She's 13, but she speaks very eloquently, which the book, the people in the book tell her, like, we can tell you're intelligent. And it's almost like the people are expecting, because she's a girl, that she shouldn't be able to speak that way. And yet,
oh my God, my father.
Yeah, right. But like in the movie, she's just like, there's nothing memorable about the way she speaks. And like, that may not have been the best passage to read, but it's the opening passage. And like, you get a pretty quick glimpse that like, oh, I can almost read this in an English accent. I can almost, like, you get like a sense of like who she is and what kind of girl she is. There's none of that in the book. I guess the best thing to read, is like, it's like this passage here. She's at the bus stop, and there's this big long thing here. Where is it? I can't even point to it because it's reversed. This big long thing here where she's talking essentially to or about this smelly alien that's rested its head on her shoulder, and like it's this big long like speech that she gives, to him to get him to move off of her. Sir, I am embarked upon a long and tumultuous journey, the results of which will be the worthy death of an unworthy man. As the first steps in this great endeavor, I have purchased passage upon this seasoned but sturdy vessel, and it is my understanding that there is a certain amount of space that is guaranteed with said purchase. By placing your head uninvited upon my shoulder in the manner which you have, you are obviously violating this guarantee. If you wish to challenge me on that premise, I am content to hear your arguments, but I would insist on you airing them straight away, as I feel I have already suffered through hours of needless discomfort, and I will stand it no more. Right? Like, this is not a.
If I were that guy, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, whatever. I'll sleep somewhere. God, fine. Oh my God, right. Stop.
But like, this is not the way a 13-year-old girl talks, right? And it shows you this is an alien. This is like, she's human, but she's alien, and like it sets the tone of the book in a way that the film doesn't give her that way of speaking, and that's a shame. Even like Supergirl, like, she doesn't speak a lot in the book, but in the film she speaks a lot, and it's not particularly memorable, like the way she speaks. Like Superman, if I remember right, in Gunn's Superman, the first thing he says, he's injured. He obviously calls for crypto. He goes to the Fortress of Solitude, gets put on the thing, and the sunlight, revitalizes him. And he like falls off the table and goes, golly. And it's like, oh, immediately I know who this guy is. Yeah. Right. There's nothing that memorable about Supergirl here, which is a shame. And so there's that. I also want to point out, and this means nothing to our listeners, but like anybody maybe looking at this can see how colorful and vibrant these pages are. Right? Like, there's stuff happening here, and it's bright, and it's colorful, and it's fun, and it's beautiful. And yet, like, there's nothing in this movie that approaches this level of vibrant saturation. Like, everything's so dark and so muddy, it doesn't reflect the book at all. And so, as somebody who's read the book, I look at the cinematography and go, this is a big fail. And that's a problem. And so, like, the art in this book is great, and the colors are fantastic. And so for the film to be so muted is a problem. Yeah.
But I get it, like, for the first half of the film, right? To match her mood.
Sure. But to match the mood. She's
those
depressed.
Colors out when she's when she makes the turn, But she doesn't make a turn. And that's the problem. Like, the film wants you to think she has, because she eventually puts on the suit, but there's nothing to motivate that other than we want her in the suit for the last climactic fight. Right.
It doesn't mean, and she won't wear the suit until that moment, by the way. So don't hope to see her in the costume. Whereas in this book, she's in the costume from panel 1, right? Like, she's
trench coat or whatever, right?
She's in the trench coat and
like
jeans.
The popcorn bucket.
Yeah, I have.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's a fail.
Yeah, that's a big fail.
That's a big fail. but yeah, it's a big problem. And yeah, man, like it's just all around vexing why the film ended up the way that it is. I want to talk about 2 more points, and then I think I'm done. Everything has been talked about a million times, but I want to throw my hat in the ring for 2 more things. 1, Jason Momoa as Lobo. Lobo does not factor into the source material at all. He's not in it at all. So the fact that he's in him. They just like him. The fact that he's in the film feels like a studio mandate or like some like ill-conceived way of expanding the world, right?
Soft
Lobo's
launch
here.
of Lobo.
Soft launch of Lobo, I guess. How do I feel about Lobo? Look, I love the character of Lobo. I think Lobo is great. He is
what is he? I don't understand what he is at all.
So Lobo is an alien. I forget his species. Like it starts with a V, I think. I can't remember. Hold on, I'll tell you. Lobo is. Stand by. It's Zarnian. Okay, yeah. So he's a Zarnian, and he calls himself the main man. He's the coolest, baddest dude in the whole world, like the whole galaxy. He is the dude, and like he meets Superman. He's like known for his interactions with Superman, where it's like, I'm bigger and better than you, Superman, and like he's a bounty hunter. So he just like pops in to like take a bounty on somebody, and Superman's like, whoa. Dude. And he's like, I can beat you up. And he's like punching Superman. And Superman's like, okay, whatever, fine, I'll fight you. But Superman's always like kind of annoyed by him. Yeah. But he's like super arrogant and like brash and bold. But he's not a bad dude. He's not a good dude. He's just like out for his own interests at all times. Okay. And he's immortal. So reduce him down to a single cell. He will come back.
That's why he's so arrogant. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He can't be killed. He's been around for eons. And he drives a space motorcycle and wears a leather jacket, and he is what the 90s thought really cool was. Although he
Space first Hell's Angel.
Yeah, literally. His first appearance was from the 80s, but like 80s, 90s, it was like, what's really cool? Oh, he'd wear metal chains and motorcycles. And so it's
space.
That's him. Exactly. And so that's the character. He's admittedly, I've never read a Lobo standalone story. So in my opinion, Lobo is very one note. Yeah. But he's a cool supporting character that like pops in and is fun and funny. Sure. And then he leaves again.
You're right.
In this, he fits that bill. He's like in and out. But story-wise, he keeps popping up despite having no reason to keep popping up. The first time he's on screen, he's like in a bar that Kara has just had a fight in for no reason. Mm-hmm. And she has this fight, and then she's sitting at this table, and
with
then
no powers, I'm guessing.
She has her powers at this point, I believe.
Okay.
Lobo walks in, and she just goes, "Oh crap, it's Lobo!" And Ruthie's like, "Who? And who's that?" And she's like, "Oh, he's a Zarnian. He killed his whole planet. He's a bad dude." And like that's it. So it's a show don't tell. It's a tell don't show. And it's just a single line of exposition is all we get as to who he is. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Does he have powers? Like if I know nothing, I'm like, does he have powers? I don't know anything about this guy. I don't know anything. Like who is he? Killed his people. Is there a story to that? Like were they all bad people, or is he the bad? I don't know anything. So she's scared of him, or like it doesn't come across as scared. It comes across like, oh crap, he's here. Like you saw an X. You know what I mean? Like it does. There's no, and how does she know him? I don't know, because he doesn't know her.
He's gonna annoy me with his social ingratitude for he's gonna tell me stupid stories for a bit.
That's right.
I'd rather not speak to Lobo.
That's right. But she knows him, and she's like, oh, that's Lobo. Knows him at first sight, but they've never met before. So like, how does she know him? Okay. I don't know. And also, like, I guess he has a reputation, but like, how does she know him? I don't know. Because here's the other thing. Remember, she went straight from Krypton, from Argo City, to Earth. How does she know about Lobo? I guess in the movie she's just turned 21, so presumably she's been on Earth for some years, but no longer than 3 because that's how long Superman's been active. Yes. And Superman met her. So for 3 years maybe she's been, but probably not 3. Like I doubt she showed up the second he turned Superman. So 2 years?
Yeah.
She's been around for 2 years. Is 2 years enough time to learn English? To learn all the things. Like at one point she's watching Casablanca, and because I'd kind of already checked out, I was like, does she understand the intricacies of World War II? Like, does she understand Earth history enough to know what this film is about?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. And so, like, presumably, so is 2 years enough to learn all there is to...
Does she know what a movie is?
Does she understand a movie? How are these little people in this box? Like, and also you're in space. Are you streaming this, or did Clark give you a DVD? Like, I don't know. I don't understand.
Do they get Paramount Plus in space?
Yeah, exactly. This is on HBO Max. You kidding me? But like, so I just don't know. Like, I don't know. But then she's like, she knows all of these different alien species, and like, she knows, like, she's clearly well versed on, going around the universe.
Yeah.
But like in this book, it takes place within the continuity of DC. So like, she presumably has been Supergirl for an indistinguishable amount of time, because of the sliding scale of comics. But like, but you can tell, I could buy she's been around the cosmos long enough. Like in the book, they even say, Ruthie records that there's like multiple times this happens. I'm going to show you one example of a guy who comes up and goes, "You're wearing Superman's symbol. I know him." And like, "Are you related to him?" And she's like, "Yeah, he's my cousin." And then the alien is like, "Yeah, well, Superman put 2 of my friends in the Phantom Zone. I'm going to kill you." And so Ruthie's like, this happens a lot because Superman's been traveling the cosmos too. Yeah. So for as long, like all the comics, all the 70, well, I don't know how long the current continuity of DC is, probably like 20 years. The 20-year history of the current Superman canon or whatever, Superman's been in space a lot, so he's made a lot of enemies. In the movie, they don't say that because I don't think this Superman's ever been to space, so they don't have that to fall back on. So like, I guess I'm just like, how is she learning all this, and where did her spaceship come from? Like, I don't understand that. Like, I don't. There's just I don't know. There's just a lot. I'm nitpicking now, but I'm like, the spaceship is clearly not Earth made.
But you wouldn't be getting there if it was provided in the story, right? Like nitpicking arrives when the main narrative causes you to check out.
Is it working?
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're like, how do we get the spaceship? Like, none of this is addressed. And so it's just like,
right.
I'm stuck on these story points, or not even just little things like, how is this even, where did this thing come from? Why does she know Lobo? Why does she have a spaceship? Like, it does sound like nitpicking, but when it comes to like, if I don't know these things, someone has screwed up setting things up, or at least like establishing that she comes from money. Okay.
Yeah.
I can intimate she bought this ship.
Yeah.
But like, does she and did she? I don't know.
But she comes from nothing. She came to Earth with nothing except her dog. Yeah. And presumably some clothes, but that's it.
I can only assume she stole this spaceship.
I don't know. I don't know how she got it. Because you could say, well, yeah, she stole it. But I'm like, but from who? Nobody on Earth was capable of space travel.
That's
in Superman,
a rabbit hole
right?
in itself. How does she know how to hotwire a spaceship?
In Superman, obviously Lex had created a pocket dimension, but they didn't mention space travel. Although you can assume that Guy Gardner, who trained on Oa, traveled through space, but on a jet or by the ring. Like, how, I don't know.
I'm also not accustomed to Kryptonians needing spaceships.
Right. So maybe she just flew off Earth and then found the spaceship somewhere and then bought it. But with what money? Like, she would have as much money as she either got a job on Earth, but that's Earth money.
I would think spaceships cost a lot of money. Like,
I would think
much more than buying it. Like,
And much more than Clark could hand her on a reporter's salary.
Less than a house. Like if you were buying a Winnebago.
Yeah, a Winnebago. That's it. 80 grand or whatever. Yeah. Like that,
tens of thousands of credits or whatever.
Yeah. That I don't understand. I just don't know. Like, and then obviously like Clark can call her and FaceTime her, but she's how far away? Like, I'm just like, I don't know what's the what's the technology of this DCU?
Yeah.
Like I'm having a hard time pinpointing it. And yes, it's all pointless, like whatever. It's nitpicking and who cares? But I'm only thinking about it because I'm not engrossed in the story. And anyway, back to Lobo. Lobo's there. He comes in, he leaves. He does not factor into the story at all, and is clearly there to soft launch and be fan service. Is Jason Momoa the right person for the role? Yes.
Sure.
Does he do a fine job? Yes. Yeah. Was he given anything at all to do? No. And that's a problem. You would think for a character who often goes toe to toe with Superman, there would be one fight between him and Kara. There's not. You would think he would do something at some point that's consequential. He doesn't. He just shows up and like is smarmy. And then like, that's it. Okay. Did I enjoy him? Would I watch more of him? Sure. But he had no point in this story.
Mm-hmm.
But all that aside, cinematography aside, Lobo aside, disconnected story aside, all of that, I have to talk about how the film completely misunderstands the point of the book. So in the book, in the movie, let's start with the movie. In the movie, Kara does not want to help Ruthie find Krem and kill Krem. She's like, you don't want to kill anybody. Trust me, you don't want to do that. It'll haunt you. And she's like, I'm not going to help you. And Ruthie is adamant, like, you're the right person. And she goes, I'm not. I'm really not. And so then a chance encounter with Krem, Crypto tries to protect Kara, and because he's a normal dog, he is able to be shot by Krem's arrow, and the arrow pierces Crypto and poisons him. And they take him to this like alien healer, and the alien is like, he's got 3 days. He will die in 3 days unless you find the antidote. Each brigand is Krem's race or his affiliation of some sort. It's never clear. Each brigand carries with them a vial. It's an antidote for their poison, and they carry it on their person. So you need to find Krem so you can get the antidote to save Crypto, and you have 3 days before Crypto dies. And so that's how Supergirl goes, okay, we're going to go find Krem. I got to save Crypto. That's the impetus for her joining this thing. Out of the gate, it's a little convenient that he's got the antidote, and they need to get him to get the antidote. A little convenient. It's fine. Whatever. It's a movie. So that's the whole premise. In the book, it's the same. Crypto gets shot. Instead of the antidote, we need the poison that he used. So we need another one of his arrows or whatever, so that we can get the poison, so that we can create the antidote.
Yeah.
And so that's what they're going to go do. Again, the film, 3 days. That's your time clock. The book takes place over months of trying to find Krem, and getting close to him and failing, and getting close to him and failing. And then eventually they're going to get him. But in the movie, you got to do it in 3 days. In the book, what happens is they're like following the trail, and they're going from place to place. And each time they stop, they either encounter Krem or they just missed him, and they see his, like, the aftermath of his, genocidal tendencies.
Yeah.
And they also see things that are wrong. And in every situation, Supergirl brings clarity and hope and inspiration to the people and fights for justice. So there's a moment where they land on this planet and there's two alien races, the blues and the purples. And Supergirl becomes immediately like suspicious and finds that the purples have been annihilated. Like there are none left. They've been completely destroyed. And Krim had something to do with it. And Supergirl like outs this big cover up that like the blues negotiated a treaty with the brigands and sacrificed the purples. And so she calls out the injustice of like, you killed people that didn't look like you and sacrificed them because you didn't deem them worthy of life, and like calls them to task for it. There's a moment where Krim had killed just randomly had killed this alien, and his brother, or like, like best friend, quote unquote brother, had seen the death, and he himself was now dying. And Supergirl, the whole chapter is like Supergirl just feeding him soup and listening to his story and holding his hand and saying like, it'll be okay. Like, you've lost someone dear and you will survive. And it sucks that this happened. Right. And it's like kindness after kindness. There's a person, an alien that she comes across who says like, yeah, the brigands were here. They killed all these people. I have a mass grave. I have to dig these graves, and I have until sundown to do it, or else they're just going to do a mass grave. But I want these people, my people, to have individual graves. And so I'm out here digging individual graves for my people. And my daughter or son, I can't remember, is out there. I don't know where his or her body is, but I'm going to find it and I'm going to give it a grave, because I don't want my child being in a mass grave. And Supergirl is like, you won't finish digging all these graves by sundown. And he goes, I'm going to try. And she goes, you deserve a break. Let me do it. And she does it in the blink of an eye, right? It's kindness. And she goes, and I found your child, and we'll lay them to rest, right? It's like moment after moment of her going out of her way to be kind to people who have been hurt. And all the while knowing I still have to find Krim, I still have to save Krypto, all of this stuff. And the whole time Ruthie is going, I'm going to kill him. When I see him, I'm going to kill him. And the whole time Supergirl is showing Ruthie, there's actually something better that you can do. All that anger that you feel is valid, but channel it into good. Be a good person. Don't be like him. Don't go after him and kill him. We have to show kindness every chance we get. And like, that's what Supergirl is teaching her. So in the end, this is the book now. In the end, what happens is Ruthie, they find Krim, and Ruthie has a sword to Krim's neck. And she could kill him, but she doesn't. And so Supergirl comes down and goes, I'll do it. And she holds the sword to Krim's neck. And Ruthie goes, no, Supergirl, you can't do that. And she talks Supergirl out of it. Now, the fact is, Supergirl was never going to do it. She was putting Ruthie to the test. Have you learned your lesson here? And Ruthie convinces Supergirl, we don't kill people. We're not going to kill him. And Supergirl is like, yeah, that's the right choice. And then Ruthie's like, okay, well, let's get the thing for Krypto. And Supergirl says, Krypto is never actually in danger. I lied to you. Krypto's fine. But I knew you wouldn't let me come with you on this quest if all I was going to do was tell you not to kill him. So I came on the quest making you think that I also wanted something from him.
Yeah.
And the whole time we quested, I was going to show you a better way. And you've passed the test, Ruthie. You didn't kill him, and I'm not going to either. And so then the film or the book flash forwards hundreds of years. Ruthie is an old woman, and Supergirl comes to her and says, it's time to let Krim out of the Phantom Zone. And he's served his sentence, 200, 300 years, served his sentence. And Ruthie says, well, how is he? Like, is he still a genocidal maniac?
Yeah, is he an asshole?
And she goes, for the first 100 years, yeah, he was. The second 100 years, he vowed to be better. And now, maybe after the third 100 years, I can't remember how long exactly. After the third 100 years, yes, he's reformed. He said he's been helping. He's been doing good things. He's completely reformed.
He's been painting.
So we're gonna let him out. Yeah, he's been doing it.
He built the library of the other Phantom Zoners.
Basically, we broke him, right? And so
getting out for good behavior.
Yep. So they let him out. He's out of the Phantom Zone, and he's kneeling in front of old Ruthie and Supergirl, who seemingly hasn't aged, and he says, "I'm so sorry, Ruthie. I don't know why I was the way I was back then, but I'm so sorry that I killed your father, and I'm so sorry for all that I've done to you, and I understand it." And as he's talking, she smacks him in the head and knocks him down. He doesn't die, like the book's clear. It's just a smack, but the idea is Ruthie's not going to forgive him. Forgiveness is off the table for Ruthie, but we're done. And so Ruthie walks away. And that's the way that the book ends. And the idea being, even against the most vile, evil person that you can imagine, the way to win is kindness. And it doesn't mean you can't be fierce, and it doesn't mean you have to be naive or, accept an apology. But it does mean you move on. You don't let it drag you down anymore. You knock it in the head and you walk away. And that's the story. Now the movie. So in the movie, Krypto really is in danger of dying. That's not a trick. He really is in danger of dying. So they need that antidote. Supergirl, eventually Ruthie has Krim has the blade to Krim's neck. And remember, in the book, Ruthie can't do it, and Supergirl says, "I'll do it," and Ruthie talks Supergirl out of it. In the movie, it's reversed. Ruthie has the sword to his neck, and Supergirl says, "Don't do it. Do not do it. Don't do it, Ruthie. Don't do it." And eventually, Ruthie doesn't do it. And so Ruthie walks away. And Supergirl takes the sword and goes to Krim and jams the sword through Krim's stomach and kills him.
Okay.
So the whole movie, she's told Ruthie, do not kill him. You don't want to kill him. It won't leave you. When you kill him, you'll have to carry that for the rest of your life. And in the end, Supergirl kills him. So the message is very mixed. It's very muddled. I don't know why. And in the climactic battle, some of Krim's other pirate friends get killed by other women, and Supergirl's like, "Hey, great job, ladies. You killed those guys." And it's just, she didn't want Ruthie to make the choice.
Yeah.
But she did it.
They have to face justice somehow.
Yeah.
But I'll do it. But I don't know what that message is.
I don't know what the message is, but it's not the book's message.
Yeah. It's like, if you've already killed people, you can kill people, but people who haven't killed people shouldn't kill people.
That's right.
But killing people is not bad if it's you.
It's only bad if you're a kid.
It's only bad if you've never killed someone.
Right. And so, but also the film never tells us that Supergirl's killed anybody. So this is her first kill too.
Sure.
So it doesn't make any sense. And then she just goes back to Earth and goes, "I'm ready to be Supergirl." And Clark goes, "Great." But he doesn't know that she just killed somebody.
Yeah. You killed anybody lately?
Yeah. And
are you okay?
And clearly and clearly that's not like a marker that she's ready to wear the S on the chest, right?
Yeah.
So what does this mean? What's the point? And so in every way, the film undermines the book. Whose point was to show that in all of these bad situations, Supergirl can be light. And in the movie, they encounter bad situations and then there's a fight scene.
Yeah.
And in every situation, they continually depower Kara in the movie. So the first time she's depowered because she's on a red sun planet.
Yeah.
Then she's depowered because she's on a green sun planet. Then she's depowered because she gets poisoned.
Green sun?
Yeah, that's a different thing. It acts a little bit like kryptonite.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, I'm a big Superman fan. I had to Google that one too.
Yeah.
It's a Silver Age thing. They don't really do it much.
I did notice in the trailers there was a lot of not super fighting, and I was wondering what that was about.
Yeah. And so she gets poisoned at one point. So she's like, you know, she has her powers, but she's poisoned. And so she's like, I got to vomit to like clear this out of my system. So she's trying to like vomit and fight at the same time and whatever. And so she's depowered. So
that subject line I sent you with this Zoom link wasn't far off.
Not too bad.
Super Hurl.
And then also in the climax, she's fighting Krim and she gets shot with kryptonite arrows. I don't know how they knew about kryptonite, but they did. And so they were prepared.
Good ace in the hole.
But again, how do they know? There's only 2 Kryptonians in the entire cosmos. How do they know
they read the scripts, Dustin?
Okay.
Someone said you should check this out for you.
You should check. Yeah.
Might save your life. Might save your life.
Yeah, that's right.
The mafia said it. Might save your life.
Might save your life.
Okay.
And yeah, so basically every fight scene that happens, she's depowered in some way.
Sure.
And it just feels really cheap. Like even there's a random scene that's not in the book. It doesn't factor into the story at all. They're on a bus and then space pirates come and they're like, we want all your tech and all your jewelry. And Supergirl's like, all right, I'm gonna fight these guys, but she doesn't have her powers. So she's like fighting them and losing. And then she's like, oh, a yellow sun is behind that star. All I have to do is put on this astronaut gear and then I can like jettison myself into space and hopefully the yellow sun will power me up and then I can fight them. And so she's trying to do that. But like when it does, she's not fully powered. So she's still like kind of powered.
Just enough for
just enough to win the day. But yeah. So anyway, the book and all these there's fighting, but in the book, all these set pieces are like built around moments of kindness and quiet. It's like Ruthie acknowledging like, man, Supergirl is such a cool person. Like she's such a kind person. She's such a beautiful soul. She's hurt. She's got trauma, but look at what she's doing with that trauma. The movie goes, hey, every time we see one of those things, we're going to fight. And so then they fight but it's a depowered fight. So it's not cool. And then in the end, they're like, okay, now get on the suit and go fight again. And we're going to depower you again until you aren't depowered enough. And so then she does a big fight scene and then she kills Krim and that's it. And like, it's just such a weird, and then she goes, now I'm ready to be Supergirl. But I'm like, but why? And she's like, I'm ready to call Earth home. But why? What did this story have to do with that at all? The book, that doesn't factor into the book at all. Like in the book, because it's set in the DC world, she's already been Supergirl for a long time. Like she is Supergirl. In the movie, she's never embraced that title. Like kind of. And even they do the He-Man thing where they're like, He-Man, where she's like, I'm Supergirl. On Earth, I'm Supergirl. And Ruthie's like, girl, aren't you a woman? And she's like, well. And I'm like, oh, just own it.
Shut up.
Like, like it'd be one thing if Ruthie was like, aren't you a woman? And then Supergirl was like, yeah, but I thought Supergirl sounded better. They just own it. Just be like, whatever. Or better yet, don't include that line.
In the grand scheme of my lifespan, I am still a girl.
Yeah, sure. It's whatever.
Yeah, but like you said, just don't include the line.
That's just the name of the character. It's what the movie is called. Like, just own it. Don't make fun of it.
Stay behind it.
Yeah, it's called Supergirl. It would be a little bit like making a Transformers movie and someone be like, Optimus Transformer? That sounds dumb. And he's like, I know it sounded stupid. Yeah. It sounds stupid, but Bumblebee said it once.
Right.
And it stuck.
But at the same time, they don't even call themselves the Transformers.
I know.
They just use it as a verb accurately in English.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we're fucking doing.
That's what we do. It's a verb.
We transform.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I don't understand that.
I don't take offense to the moniker Transformer. I wouldn't choose it myself, but I don't mind
that's
it.
what I'm called.
That's what if you want to call me that, that's fine.
It's like, oh, you Batman? You called yourself Batman? And then he's like, it's dumb, but it's what the papers called me. I love
the idea of just a random person deciding in Batman's presence
to chastise Batman for his name.
Stupid, right, Batman? And he's like, oh yeah, he just punches a hole through their head.
Let me show you something stupid.
It's fucking stupid now, huh?
Yeah, but you know what's gonna happen? Like, Robin. What kind of name is Robin?
That's a girl's name.
Robin.
I was like,
it's just a name. It's just a name.
Kill someone. Batman's like, Robin, oh my God, what'd you do? I'm sorry, I was so triggered by being made fun of.
Yes, but that's what they're gonna do. I you know what? I'm gonna call this now. I know they have that dynamic duo movie coming out.
Yeah,
which has it's like Dick and Jason. They're either gonna make a joke about Robin, or they're gonna make a joke about your name's Dick, and I guarantee you that's gonna be in the movie. If I'm not, if I'm wrong,
you're gonna eat that Beatles hat.
But you know it's gonna happen, and I'm just like, it's his name. Like, just let it be a name.
Dick. Oh, yeah.
You could say the same thing about Lois. Who names their kid Lois anymore? Yeah, no one. But whatever.
My parents, asshole.
Who cares?
What's your problem?
Whatever. Yeah. Well, why are we doing this? Your name's Joker. What are you, a joke? Yeah, that's the point. I don't know. Like, stop.
These comics were written almost 100 years ago. It's okay.
Just let them have their name. I don't understand.
That's us starting to have our cake and eat it too, right? Like, you want to capitalize on this IP.
Yeah.
But you want to like poke fun at it.
Yeah.
It's like you just, I know it seems like a petty note, but you just can't do that.
There's just going to be like, I can tell you right now, there's going to be stuff. Oh, his name's Darkseid. His name's Darkseid. Yeah, his name's Darkseid, whatever.
Hey, that's the name my parents gave me. And even if it what are you making fun of my dad?
Right. Just don't do that in your script. Just stop.
It's just amateur hour to be like, oh, let's make fun of the name.
Yeah.
Because one guy will like that joke. It's like, but we're not making the movie for that guy.
No, it's to appease one person who goes, I'm offended that they call her Supergirl. She's a woman. She's a grown woman.
We could rope
who is
in
that person?
5 more people globally to like this movie. Expand the reach of the movie by 5 people.
Yeah.
Who will only see the movie if we acknowledge that the names are a little strange.
Yeah.
Is that worth it to you guys?
No, replace that dialogue with something that builds character.
Yeah.
Replace that dialogue with, hey, I heard something really bad happened on Krypton. Do you want to talk about that? And then her go, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And then boom, in 2 lines, you've told me like, people know about Krypton, that's world building, and that Supergirl is hiding or is like running from the trauma of it. That's all it takes. Yeah. Like, replace that with, why do they call, aren't you a woman? Aren't you a grown woman? And it's like, just stop. Golly. But
it's like, the only answer to that is because the comics call me Supergirl. That's my name.
Whatever. Anyway, the point is there's a lot about this book. This book is commonly called like a modern masterpiece. Like it's one that's going to stand the test of time. I really like the book. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I really do like the book, and I think it's probably the best story for Supergirl that I've read. And I do like it a lot. I do recommend that you read it. The movie doesn't capture it. It fundamentally misunderstands the meaning of the book. It fundamentally misunderstands that like you just be good, you just be kind. Like there's this thing like in the book. This is the last thing I'll say. In the book, when Supergirl's mother is dying, she says to Supergirl, "Be good," and like that kind of carries you through. The book then like defines goodness by showing her feeding soup to an alien, but a person who's lost someone in war. Like it's being good. It's like fighting for the people who need fighting for. It's observing a need and filling the need. It defines goodness. In the movie, likewise, Supergirl's mother says, "Be good." But there's no, like, the movie doesn't define goodness. And so it can't extrapolate the theme as being good. It means this.
Yeah.
I guess it means stabbing somebody through the stomach with a sword.
Kill people.
But like they add to that in the movie, and they say, instead of just "be good," that's all that's said in the book. In the movie, it's "be good." You don't have to be kind, but be good. You don't have to be, what does she say? You can still be fierce, but be good. It's something like that. It's like two things. And I'm like, okay, so now you're delineating between kindness, goodness, fierceness, whatever. Yeah. These are good. These can be valid things. Now it's on the screenwriter to extrapolate the meaning of that. If that's the meaningful moment, like a core memory to Supergirl, now tell me why that matters here. Why are we thinking about that moment now? And how does that show up in the story? How does that show up in the story? And that's the problem with the story, is that the movie does not extrapolate what does goodness mean. And that's the problem. So my problem with the film is Kara. I don't know Kara, and the film does not know Kara. And two, the film doesn't even know what message it's trying to send about what goodness is, or about what it means to like help someone who's dealing with trauma deal with it. Like funnel that anger into something productive, funnel that anger into something that's good. And I would say good and kind, good and noble. That's what we do with our anger. When something isn't going our way in our personal life, politically, whatever, we channel that discomfort into goodness, into, like something that's going to elevate people, encourage people, build up. That's what goodness is. That's what heroism is. Even in the face of, like something despicable, we remain kind. That's what we do. And that's what we teach our kids to do. And that's what this book says. The movie doesn't say anything of the sort. It doesn't say anything. So I that's where I'm at with this one. Yeah. It
always sucks, man. Like, you got it all laid out right there in the source material, and it's just like, there's no reason not to follow it, other than like some misguided, like, when was the source material written?
Oh, it's been a few years.
In like the 80s, 90s?
No. Within the last 10.
Well, for God's sake, like, I was going to say, like, usually there's some like kind of knee-jerk reaction to modernize it, right? Like, let's make sure that this abuser is killed by our female characters.
Released between 2021 and 2022.
Oh my God. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's super modern.
Yeah, totally.
So what is there to update for modern sensibilities, so-called modern sensibilities?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's just a failure to understand that. And like now, like in the world where we're trying to like build up hope and build up, like a better future, why not have the message be more clear?
Yeah.
What we do against somebody who's genocidal, what we do against somebody who has his own best interest at heart always. What do we do against that? And the answer is we just be kind. Yeah. We fight the injustice and we be kind and we be good. And that's the point. And especially like all that, around Superman's release, it was like, this is the hopeful Superman. This is Superman who brings hope. This is Superman who brings hope. Okay, this book brings hope. So let Supergirl do the same thing. And I know that it's long been said that like the problem with Superman and like Supergirl is Supergirl's just a female Superman. So how do you make it a different character? I'm like, this book proves it's a different character. She lies to Ruthie. She, does a lot that Superman wouldn't do. She is fighting people and like, hurting people. Like, I don't know, whatever, but like it's injustice. But I don't know, man. Like she's not tethered to Earth the way that Superman is. She's not tethered. Like she is different. But bound by the same code of nobility. Yeah. And that's fine because you have to think about it. Like in the traditional origin, Supergirl lands on Earth and who essentially raises her, right? Like she's a teenager for a few years from, let's say, I think the book says like 14 is when she leaves Argo City. So like 14 to 21, she's raised by who? Ma and Pa Kent. She has the same grounding that Clark has, only also Kryptonian. And and I should also throw this in there. Zor-El sent Supergirl to Earth to be good. Jor-El sent Superman to conquer. Mm-hmm. The general idea here is that Krypton's actually good and Jor-El is the bad guy. Right. Jor-El's the only one that sent someone to conquer. And that to me also feels really weird. If they had said like Krypton's a really warmongering planet, that's a stance. Sure. I wouldn't write it that way, but fine. But now it feels really muddy that like that Jor-El's brother is like, be good, Kara. And Jor-El is like, Clark, go kill everyone.
Subjugate the humans.
Yeah, that feels really weird to me. Yeah. And there's no way to dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever, that's an aside. But anyway, I don't know. I've rambled enough. If you've listened this far, congratulations. You've had a book and a movie spoiled for you, but please go read the book. It is good. Yeah. And it's a quick read. I read it in a single sitting.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, I also don't want to give the impression that like, I'm an old hat. I've read this book. I read this book yesterday. I saw the movie and was like, I know there's something here because everyone raves about this book. Yeah. So I went and bought the book and I read the book and it's far better. Yeah. So just go read the book. And maybe eventually Supergirl will become required viewing for the DCU at large.
Yeah.
As of right now.
But right now it's not.
Just skip it.
Yeah.
I know she factors into Man of Tomorrow, but I don't know how big her role will be. Yeah. So you might have to see it before that, but I don't know. Probably not. Who cares? Yeah. There's no meaningful character arc here. So just.
We'll tell you.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a drunk at the beginning of the movie, presumably not at the end. No real indication why.
Right.
Yeah. What did we talk about? There was a movie we talked about recently that didn't earn its arc. This seems to be endemic of modern films.
Oh, yeah. I can't even think. I mean,
the Bob Odenkirk movie, Normal. That like had this big thing, but there was no reason for the change in the character.
Right.
Based on the adventure he just went on. It's the same thing here. There's no reason for the change in the character. So if you're writing a screenplay out there and you do what you're supposed to do and have your character be different at the end than at the beginning, that's great. Now make sure that the journey, that had the journey not happened, that arc wouldn't have taken place.
Yeah.
That you can pinpoint specific moments in that journey that without all of these specific moments happening in succession, that arc wouldn't have taken place. Make sure that's in your story. So anyway, there you go.
And that's Supergirl.
That's Supergirl. I don't know. Probably not. Who cares?